Hello, welcome to the Worlds of History Library Resources webinar. My name is Linda Cifelli. I'm a librarian at Kean University's Learning Commons. Today's webinar will focus on research topics for the Worlds of History course taught by Professor Steve Schaefer. The session will focus on the various library resources that are available, whether you're trying to gather background information from reference books or online reference books, or if you're trying to gather more in-depth information from books, ebooks, and also articles, videos, and more. At the end of the session, I will provide my contact information so that you can reach out to me or to my librarian colleagues for further research assistance with your own topics. What I'm going to do is to move over to the library's website, or the Learning Commons website in another window. So if you just bear with me, and here we go. Actually, I'm starting at the university's webpage right now. And there is a link to the Learning Commons from the Quick Links menu, which is up in the top right corner. So as I click on Quick Links and the menu appears, I'm just going to click on the link for Library, which will bring us over to the Library Learning Commons homepage. And this is the gateway to the resources and services available through the Kean University Learning Commons. Before focusing on our research resources, I did want to mention that from this homepage, you can access information relating to some of the other student support services available through the Learning Commons, such as the Tutoring Center, the Writing Center, and the Public Speaking Lab. These resources do provide options for making appointments through TutorTrack, and those links are right here on the website, but you could also stop by in person or call those service areas in order to make appointments. Moving on to the research resources, I did want to point out that right here in the middle of the website, there is a search box, and this is the WorldCat Discovery search box, which we could use to look for books or ebooks, as well as articles, videos, government documents, and other types of information. And this is a great place to find some information for any of your research topics. But I'm not actually going to recommend that we start here today. I'm going to focus on some of the other resources available to us, and then we'll circle back to this WorldCat search box a little bit later. What I'd like to do is to click on the link for research guides right below the WorldCat search box. This will open up yet another window, and it will bring you to a collection of subject-focused research guides that have been created by Kean University's librarians for different courses, for different subject areas, for different majors, and for other things as well. So there is a menu, quite a long menu. And for this course, for Worlds of History, what we do is click on the link for History in the center column, and this will open up yet another menu under the History heading. Sure enough, if we scroll down, there is a link for Worlds of History, History 1062, post-World War II, and this is the research guide that was prepared specifically for the section of the course taught by Professor Schaefer. And the resources recommended on this guide are tailored to the research topics that Professor Schaefer's students will be working with. What we see when we go into the Worlds of History guide is a page that has a number of tabs towards the top. And notice how we start on the Start Your Research Here tab. And this is a great place to get information, to get a project going, just to get the ball rolling, to gather some background information, to get some foundational knowledge for your research topic. As you scroll down on this page, oops, went a little too far, there are several boxes that have labels, such as recommended online reference databases. And here we see links to some of the library databases that do provide access to reference book material, such as encyclopedias, subject encyclopedias, dictionaries, handbooks, and so on. As you scroll a little bit further down on the screen, there are some recommended subject-focused encyclopedias and other types of ebooks and print books. So when you look at this list and consider your own research topic, you may find that there are some book titles that tie in to the project that you're working on for this course, whether it's Arab nationalism in the 20th century or the Arab Spring, or even the British invasion, how the Beatles and other UK bands conquered America. And then just scroll down. These titles are listed in alphabetical order by the title, so you may need to scroll down towards the bottom of the list until you see a title that matches up with your own research topic. Notice how the books that have hyperlinked titles are labeled as electronic resources. These are ebooks that you would be able to access through your computer or other device, whether you're on or off campus. As you click on the title, it's often going to ask you to log in with your Keen Google email username and password. When you scroll down, you may see that there are some books that do not have a hyperlinked title, like this one, Encyclopedia of Environmental Issues, and this happens to tell us that it is a print book that's shelved in the Nancy Thompson Library Learning Commons. It may indicate that it's in the library annex or perhaps in the reference collection or the main collection, but it does indicate the call number, which is what you would need to record so that you can locate and access the book, the print book, within the Library Learning Commons. I'd recommend that when you have a chance, you come back to this research guide on your own and explore a bit and see what types of information can help support the research that you're trying to do. But at this point, I would like to go over the steps that you could take on your own to find additional reference books and other types of resources that you could use for your own project. Once again, the top of this page does provide links to specific databases that you could go into and run searches on your own, but we could also back out to the library website. And once again, starting from the home page, we could try to explore on our own. Rather than searching in the Search WorldCat box right here, my suggestion is that we first go into the Databases A to Z area, and there is a link right below the search box. When you click on Databases A to Z, you'll find a long list of the databases to which Kean University subscribes. They are listed alphabetically, so if you know exactly which database you want to use, you could always use the alphabetical menu and get to that database pretty quickly. If, on the other hand, you're not sure where to start, we do have the button labeled All Subjects right above the alphabetical menu. And if you click, a menu of many of the subject areas, academic departments will show up on that menu. And for this course, we'll go ahead and click on History. And when you look at the history menu, you'll see that there are a number of databases that are recommended for history research. Since we're still in the beginning stages of the research project, I'd recommend that we select some of the databases that do specialize in reference resources. Databases such as Sage Knowledge is one. Gale eBooks is another one that also provides access to reference resources. And even Facts on File online databases is also a database that provides access to reference resources like encyclopedias and dictionaries and handbooks. Because we're in the beginning stages of a project, reference resources are a good way to go. You can get the background information knowledge that can help you feel comfortable with your topic and better able to deal with the resources that delve into your topic in much more focused manner and much more depth. I'd suggest for now that we go into the Sage Knowledge database, one of those options listed here. And here we have the Sage Knowledge search box listed towards the top half of the screen. This type of database works very well if we keep our searches pretty simple, maybe focus on the main keywords for the topic, and just type a few of those keywords into the search box. I'd really recommend that you focus on one of your topics at a time. I'm looking at the list of topics right now, and I see that for each numbered topic, we're actually going to be comparing one of the post-World War II topics to a topic that's from another period of time. It's not likely that you're going to find resources that are focusing on both of those topics all at once, so we'd most likely have to separate out those topics and search one at a time. What we could do for now is maybe run a quick search for the topic Satyagraha, which is listed on the topic list. I'm just going to type that keyword right here and run the search. And what we see in this example is that we're getting a number of articles that do pick up on the search term that was typed in. And as we scroll down, we'll see on the line below each title where that article was found in. We see the first article here was found in the Encyclopedia of Political Science, whereas the second article was found in a book called Cultural Sociology of the Middle East, Asia, and Africa. And then as you scroll further, you'll see that there are other articles found in other books. Here's another one found in a political encyclopedia. Here's another article on Mohandas Gandhi found in the Encyclopedia of Religious and Spiritual Development. So what's happening is that we're finding articles that were originally published in print books, and these books are focusing on the topic from different subject area perspectives. And that can be a really interesting way of pursuing information about a topic, looking at it from different angles. We have the links for the titles. Just click to access the full text. This first one is actually a pretty brief article. Let me just go back and choose one of the others. Number 2, I think, goes into the topic with a little bit more depth. It's a bit longer. And again, these are the types of articles that can be very useful towards the beginning stages of a project. What I'm going to do is take a look at some of the options that are available from this database when we have the full text on the computer screen in front of us. So for instance, there is a download PDF option, so you can always click that download PDF and save the article as a PDF onto your own computer or onto a flash drive. You also have these buttons towards the top right corner where you can click the share option, and it gives you an email form that you can fill out and send the article to yourself. You also have the button with the double quotation marks, and that provides some assistance with the citation style. So as you're keeping track of your sources and preparing your works cited page, this citation help can help you with the formatting. Notice how it does default to APA style, but for this course, I believe we're using MLA style, so we can switch over to MLA, and then you can copy and paste this formatted citation into your Word document, into a Google Doc, or into an email message. That's what I'll do now. I'll select it, copy, go back to share, and then let me just scroll down. I'm going to paste the citation into the message field. You do lose the hanging indents, but at least the database is going to try to help you with the citation style. But please bear in mind that this is a computer-generated citation and it may not be perfect, so you always want to proofread it and make any corrections before you turn it in to your professor. So these types of tools, the email, the downloading, getting help with the citation style are available through most of our library databases, but you may have to look around on the screen until you see these options because different databases provide the options in different places on the screen. But if you ever need help, I'd always recommend that you contact a librarian, and we're always happy to look around and resolve any of the questions that you have. But the Sage Knowledge Database, let me just go back to the home screen, again, is useful for finding the background information for your topics. You may need to explore different keyword options for your topic, different synonyms if it's not working on the first try. But give it a try, and I hope that you'll be happy with the information that you're finding. But we do have a number of other databases that also provide access to the reference book background information type of information. So I'm just going to go back over to one of my previous windows where I still have the databases for history up and running. And one of the other options that I mentioned briefly a bit earlier is the database called Gale eBooks, also wonderful for reference resources. This is coming to us from a different company, so it's not Sage, but notice how there is a search option towards the top of the screen. So I could run the search here for perhaps a different topic. So this time I'm going to try Gutenberg, which on my list is one of the other topics, number 29, I believe. And just running a quick search for Gutenberg, sure enough, I'm getting articles that were originally published in different print books. In some cases, I'm getting a biography of Johannes Gutenberg, so that may be helpful for getting some background information. Here I have another one, a title, The Gutenberg Bible, so that may also be useful for the research project. And a little bit further down on the screen, here's another article called The Birth of Print Culture, the Invention of the Printing Press in Western Europe. This sounds like it might be a really good article for the topic. So when I click into it, here's the full text, including images that were published in the original print book. And then again, if I decide that I want to hold on to this article for future reference, here are some of the options that I see. There is I can download it to Google Drive. I can click email and email the article to myself. There's also a download option if I'm working on my own computer or if I have a flash drive handy. But I also see that way up in the top right corner, we have a send to option. Again, download, print, get link if I want to get a hyperlink that will work for me later on. But here is the cite option. We had seen that option in Sage as well. When I click Cite here in the Gale database, it does default to MLA 8th edition, so that's good for this course, for this project. So I can copy and paste, but I'll always have to remind myself to proofread it and make any corrections because it is computer generated and it may not be perfectly formatted. Okay, so let me just move some of these out of the way. So I'm not going to go through every single one of the databases that are available to us through the Learning Commons. However, I always encourage students to try out the various database options that they see, and they are often going to find many different types of information about a single topic when they go into different databases. So explore a little bit on your own and give these databases a try and let us know, let the librarians know if you are running into problems and have questions. We're happy to work with you. So in addition to the types of databases that get us to background information, I did want to return to the Learning Commons homepage where we had seen the Search WorldCat option. And let's spend a little bit of time now looking at how we can use the WorldCat search form to find books and ebooks that go into the topic in a bit more depth than we had seen in the reference databases. So for instance, we have the search form right here, and this is going to work very much like Google. You don't have to do anything very fancy in terms of connecting your search terms with the words and or not. Here, you can just type in your main keywords and see how it goes. So for instance, I see that topic number 3 on the list is George Kennan containment is the post-World War II topic. So what I'll do here, I'm just going to type in the last name and then throw in the word containment. And then try to run a search for those two keywords. So what's happening here is I'm getting over 1,600 results that are picking up on these two keywords. So what I'm seeing are ebooks and books, and perhaps as I scroll down, I'll also see that I'm getting some articles or videos on the topic as well. At the top of the screen, it indicates that these results are from libraries worldwide. So in many cases, I will see held by Kean University Nancy Thompson Library. So that'll show up for a lot of the resources that are available through our library. But as you scroll down, you may see that some of the resources do not have that held by Kean University message, and it might indicate that it's held by other libraries around the world. We do have ways for you to request copies of books or ebooks or articles that we don't have here at Kean. There's an interlibrary loan option that's built into these records, but for now we'll focus on what we have here at Kean. But bear in mind that in the future, if you want something that we don't have at Kean, you could always request it through interlibrary loan. At this point, I'm going to focus on the books and the ebooks that are available. And I do see that the very first item on this list indicates that it is an ebook published in 2007. And notice how it has a View ebook button, this blue button. And that means that I can click on it whether I'm on or off campus. Sometimes it will ask me to log in with my Kean email, username, and password, but sometimes you just get right in. So because I am on campus, I'm just getting right into the ebook. And this is the entire book right here. I have the arrows at the bottom where I can click and go page by page through the book, but I also see a table of contents along the left-hand side, so I can jump around to different chapters and read certain chapters of the book. Notice how there's also a search within option up above the table of contents area on the left, so I can click search within and type in keywords, and the database, this ebook database, will direct me to the specific pages within this ebook that happen to mention my keywords. A lot of our ebooks do come to us through the database that we're actually using at the moment. This is the EBSCO ebook database, but you may, in the course of your research, come across ebooks that are available from other databases like ProQuest or Sage or Gale or Oxford. So occasionally you may come across a screen that looks a little bit different, but generally you have very similar options available to you, like the search within the ebook option, or you can look and see if there is a page option, a print option like we have at the top here, or an email option, save pages. So what will happen when you click on some of these options is that the database will let you know how many pages you are able to email or save or print. Generally, you will not be able to do this for the entire book because of copyright restrictions, but usually it's about 20% of the book. But the database will walk you through the steps and let you know what you're able to do. One of the other options I see across the top is the cite option. And once again, the ebook database will help you with the citation style. So here I'm going to look for MLA. So I can copy and paste that citation into my Google Doc, my Word document, and try to get some help with the formatting. Remember, it may not be perfectly formatted. You may also find the citation help is also built into the email form. So here I have the email PDF option, and then there's a citation format menu. I could choose MLA, and the email option will try to help me with the citation style as well. So as I mentioned earlier, different ebooks may look a little bit different, but just explore them a little bit and see what you're able to do. If you need help, please do ask, and we'll try our best to help out whenever you need that help. I just went back to the result list from the original book search, and I do notice that I'm also getting print books on this list. In fact, number 2 is a print book published in 2011. Notice how it says it's available in the Nancy Thompson Library Main Collection. That means if I visit the library and have this call number recorded somewhere, either written on a sheet of paper, my notebook, or what I could do is click email and send myself the record I'm seeing on the screen. I would need to look for that call number on the shelves. Every book, every print book is arranged in alphabetical order by call number. If you do have trouble finding print books, please let us know, and Either I'll help you or one of my colleagues will help you, but you would be able to check out books that are from the main collection. If you find a book that's in the library annex, let us know and we'll help you access the book. You'd be able to check that out as well. It's just that if you find a book that's from the reference collection books do need to remain in the building, but you could always scan copies or take notes from them while you're here in the building. So I do notice that the search result screen here does provide not just the email option for each of the records on the screen, but notice how there is a link option. So when you click, it gives you a hyperlink that you can save somewhere and then click on later on in order to get back to the same record. But there's a cite option as well. Just need to move some of these things around. Cite will also help you with your citation style. So this is a common theme. We're seeing this citation help built into most of our databases. I guess the big message is that it may not be perfectly formatted, so you always want to double check using the resources that you have on hand and make sure that these citations are accurately formatted. Now, as I'm looking at the screen here and scroll down, I notice how along the left-hand side there are a lot of options for filtering the search results. So you have these options along the left with checkboxes. So for instance, I could always click the checkbox by Kean University Nancy Thompson Library, and that will remove anything that is not held by Kean University. I could also scroll down under the content section. There's an option to click peer reviewed, and when I do that, the database will show me only the things that are from scholarly peer-reviewed journals. So notice how the books go away, but now we're seeing things that are articles. And most of these will ultimately have links for view full text, so you can click that link to get to the full text article. I'm going to remove that peer review checkbox. And then notice how along the left-hand side, you could also click Show More under the Format area. And then here we see we have options for limiting to articles or music recordings even. And then a little bit further down, there's even an option for video or e-video. I'm going to click on the e-video option. And what we see now is a record that provides a link to one of our library's streaming video databases. So here we have a video, Making the World Safe for Democracy. And if I click on View Now, yet another window pops open. It's taking a little while to do so, but what it's probably going to do is lead us out to the Films on Demand database, which is one of our video collections. And these are all videos that are available online, so you could be working on or off campus and you can watch the video through your computer or other device. So the videos, for those of us who are visual learners, will be a great way to get information, to get ideas, to get inspiration. If you are going to quote or use these videos in your projects, notice how there is a cite option below the video, and then you can get help with your citation style here as well. So you always want to keep track of the information that you're finding, no matter what format it's in, whether it's print or online or videos. So let me just close that out and go back out to the screen. I'll delete the video limit. So before we move out of the WorldCat search screen, I did want to let you know that I don't always find exactly what I'm looking for on the first try. Often I do need to come back to the original search keywords and maybe try different ideas out. I always try to keep my eyes open for alternative keywords that I could try. Maybe ideas will come up in your search results and you'll think of ways that you can tweak the search. And sometimes when you change things just a little bit, you get better and better results. So don't worry if you're not finding exactly what you want on the first try. Go back, double check your spelling, make sure there wasn't a typo, and maybe try switching out some of the terms with something else, and you might be pleased with your next round of search results. And once again, the librarians can help you with that type of brainstorming. So if you do run into problems, please let one of us know and we'll be happy to help you work through the problems that you're running into. So what I'll do for now is I'm going to go back to the Library Learning Commons website. And a little bit of a hint, we do have the King logo in the top left corner here. When I click there, it brings me back out to the home page. So at this point, I'd suggest that we switch gears a little bit. Let's focus on the databases that will get us to articles. We did have some article results coming through the WorldCat search, but I should warn you that you will get plenty of articles there, but you may not get all of the articles that are available through Kean University through the WorldCat option. So especially if you want to focus on articles published in a specific subject area, whether it's history or for another class if you need to focus on psychology or biology, what I would definitely recommend is that you click the Databases A to Z link right below the WorldCat search box. So we had done this earlier when we first started out, but we'll return here now. And once again, I'm going to click on the All Subjects button above the alphabetical menu, scroll down a bit, and choose History. So once again, we're back on the menu where we see the recommended databases for history research. We had seen this before when we clicked on Gale and Sage. But at this point, if we want to focus on finding journal articles for a research topic, we have some specific databases that specialize in that type of information. And notice how each database has a description on the lines below the database name. So for instance, America History and Life, it's one of the EBSCO host databases, does mention that it provides journal article information as well as other types of resources, and it happens to focus on the United States and Canada. We have some others that focus on American history, and then here's historical abstracts a little bit further down on the list. This one also provides access to journal articles, and this one happens to focus on other countries around the world, not just the United States and Canada. And we have other database options here. I think America History and Life and historical abstracts would be a great place to start when you're trying to find journal articles. We could search each one of them individually, but there is a little bit of a trick. We can actually search both of those databases at the same time. It's really easy. All you have to do is click on one of them. So I'll click on America History and Life now. So here we are in the EBSCO search interface, and it says that we're searching America History and Life. But notice how there's a Choose Databases option just to the right of the database name. And when we click on Choose Databases, we see the complete menu of all of the databases that we happen to get from the EBSCO company. And we can add some check marks next to some of these other databases. And in this way, we're sort of doing some one-stop shopping, searching in multiple databases all at the same time. So it's an efficient way to search. So I'd recommend adding a check mark by historical abstracts. So we cover history, world history, not just US and Canada. Over here, I'm going to suggest that we add a check mark by Academic Search Premier. That's a really big multidisciplinary database. The little search bubble to the right of the database name does give us the description, search multidisciplinary databases. So that would be good for history research. And I think I'm also going to put a check mark by Humanities International Complete. History is typically considered to be one of the humanities. And then maybe even add a check mark by SocIndex with full text. SocIndex is a sociology database and often provides some really interesting perspective on many of the topics that this course focuses on. And now I'm just going to click on the OK button. Once again, we're back to the search screen, and when I click Show All, here are all of the databases that had been selected. And we're ready to go. We can try experimenting with some of your keywords. Once again, I'd recommend that you focus on one of your topics at a time, not trying to combine both. That may work for some people, but perhaps not for everyone. what I'll do here when I'm entering in my keywords is I'm actually going to combine the keywords with the word and. I notice how in the bottom left corner in the area for search modes, it indicates that Boolean slash phrase is selected. And when you see the word Boolean, that tends to mean that the search is going to work a whole lot better if we combine our keywords with the word and. So for instance, if I want to focus on topic number 19, opening to China, Nixon, what I'll do here, I'll try opening to China, see how it goes, but I'm also going to throw in Nixon, but I'm going to connect Nixon with the word and. So when the database sees that word and between my keywords, it's going to look for articles that mention all of the keywords I've typed in. And in this case, I'm thinking that it may also look for the phrase opening to China, but definitely the word Nixon will also appear in the articles that are retrieved. So what happens? So we got 39 articles that are picking up on these keywords. That's not a whole lot of articles to consider, but let me tweak the search a little bit. I'm going to try replacing the word to in my original search with and. Oops, make sure I spell it right. So opening and China and Nixon. Now I'm getting 49 articles. So the number of search results increased a little bit. And then as I scroll down, I do see that I'm picking up on articles that mention Nixon, 1972, opening to China, and so on. So it looks like I'm on the right track. And then as I scroll down, maybe I'll go ahead and click on the full text links for some of the articles that have that link available. I could also click on the link for the title, and most likely I will see an abstract, a summary that describes what the article is about. And that can help me evaluate the source and see whether or not I'm on the right track. And that abstract or the full text link, if it's available, may suggest different search terms that I can try. And just from previous experience, I've noticed that some of the articles that deal with the opening to China use different keywords. So maybe I might see the word reconciliation showing up, or rapprochement, that's another word. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, or even the word détente sometimes shows up in the articles. So what I could do is run searches using some of these alternative keywords, and I'll find different articles about the topic. I can try each one of those keyword options one at a time, but I can also build a slightly more advanced search strategy simply by doing something a little bit different. So I'm back up here at the original search. What I'm going to do is put a parenthesis in front of the word opening, and then I'm going to put the word or as a connector, and then maybe tie in some of these other search term keyword options that I've just mentioned. Try to spell it right. Maybe I'll start with that. But I'm also thinking that the word reconciliation has different variant words. So I have the word reconciliation, but also there's the word reconcile or reconciling, different variants of the same word stem. Here's a little trick that I'd recommend. I would delete the ending of that word and just delete it up to the word stem and then stick an asterisk symbol at the end of it. This asterisk symbol in this instance is serving as a truncation symbol. It's allowing me to truncate or shorten a longer word and then stick the symbol there. And what will happen is the database will look for any articles that mention that word stem plus any of the longer variant spellings. It's a good way to get more and more articles picking up on all of those variant word endings. So, okay, now I'm getting more articles than I had before, 61, so it's better and better, more options to consider. And then, in fact, here I see the word reconciliation showing up as one of those subject words several lines below the title. So it lets me know that I'm on track. And then maybe if I think of some of the other keyword synonym options, I'll throw in some of them as well. Here's one of the French words, I believe, that I had seen elsewhere in previous searches. And I'm just adding them in in between parentheses, I'm putting the word or in between, and in this case, the database is going to look for articles that mention at least one of those words inside parentheses. An article doesn't have to have all of those words inside parentheses, but at least one. And then it also definitely has to find the word China, and it definitely has to find Nixon. And when I run the search now, notice how the number of results really increases quite a bit. So I have a lot more options to consider. Notice how a lot of the articles on the list have the little academic journal label on the left, but as you scroll down, you may find videos, you may find newspapers, you might find periodicals, another type of label, and periodicals in the EBSCO databases tends to mean magazine. You do have a way to limit your results to scholarly peer-reviewed journals. Along the left-hand side, there's a Limit To section, and you can click the checkbox next to scholarly peer-reviewed journals. And in this way, the database will weed out the videos, the magazine articles, the newspaper articles, and everything that comes up should be from an academic journal, but you still need to evaluate the search results. So for instance, I'm going to click on the PDF full text link for one of these articles. And here we see the full text article, and then I'll just scroll down a little bit if it lets me do that. So it looks like this is a scholarly article, so it's looking at this topic from a scholarly perspective, written by probably a professor or a graduate student. They are citing their sources, and there's a long, well, they have a number of, in this case, footnotes. In other articles using different citation styles, you might see long works cited pages. So I could always download this article onto my computer or take advantage of the email option I see on the right side of the screen. Once again, I'll choose my citation format and then send this article off to my email account. There also is a permalink option that I see on the right. I'd recommend that you click permalink if you are trying to gather hyperlinks that you can click on later on. The permalink will work for you, later today or next week or next month. That's a link that should continue working for you. One problem that I've seen some students run into is if they click on the hyperlink that's way at the top of the browser. That hyperlink will time out after a period of time. So that link will not work for you later on. You definitely want to use the permalink option instead. So I'd recommend that you try your searches. Try to use the strategies that we're talking about here, connecting your keywords with the word and. But then if you want to give the database like options with various synonyms, then just build in the parenthesis area with or in between your keywords. Use the asterisk if you happen to have words that have different variants. Just type in the beginning of the word and stick the asterisk at the end. And then hopefully you'll find that you're getting plenty of articles that you can consider as possible sources. You may see different types of full text. PDF or linked full text are some of the options that we see. And you may also see full text finder, which will typically link you out to the full text in a completely different database. So here it just opened up a new window, and sure enough, it's taking us over to the Oxford database where there is a PDF option available. So try clicking those full text finder options if you see them, but if you do get stuck and you're not getting to the full text, ask one of the librarians and we'll try to help you figure out what your options are. So these search strategies will work in other databases as well. As you try different searches, get a little bit creative with your keywords. If you're finding searches that are working for you, make a note of that search. Write it down on your notebook or send yourself an email with that search strategy. And you can try it out in a different database when you have a chance later on, or just copy it, go back out to the databases page, and then try running the search in one of the other database options available. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I would recommend that you try databases like JSTOR. It's a very scholarly database. Project Muse is a very good one as well. And we have ProQuest History, which is a great database as well. ProQuest History, it's a completely different database coming from a different company, so you'll get different articles in ProQuest than you found in EBSCO. The same search strategies will work here, so I'm just pasting in the search. And I will warn you, in ProQuest you often get a lot more results than what we found in EBSCO. So here we're getting over 17,000 results. A little bit overwhelming, but you can take advantage of some of the limit options that we see on the left side. You can limit to peer review, or you can click on scholarly journals, or if you want to look at historical newspapers, you have those options. And then just take a look and see what comes up. Typically find that a lot of the articles do have the full text links, so you can go from there and take a look and see if the article is relevant for your research project. Utilize the same types of options that we've seen in the other databases, the download, the email option, the citation help, the cite option. Um, use the databases and take advantage of the technology that's being offered to you. So ProQuest, yeah, we would need to spend a little bit of time in here, I think maybe evaluating the results that are coming up or maybe trying some search strategies that really get us to the articles that we like. But I'll let you explore a little bit on your own when you have a chance. But I'm just going to circle back to the A to Z databases page. And before I finish up, I did want to recommend that you also try some of the newspaper databases. We do have some historical newspaper databases listed here on the databases page for history. So for instance, we see New Jersey Historical Newspapers, which provides access to the late 18th and 19th century newspapers published in New Jersey. We also have ProQuest Historical Newspapers, the New York Times, which provides access to New York Times issues all the way back to 1851. This would be a great resource if you're trying to get newspaper articles published at the time of your topic, so you really get a sense of what was going on in the world at the time. And just so you know, we do have access to the New York Times, the present day as well. So that's also listed here as a standalone New York Times database. This provides access to the New York Times from about 1980 up to the current day. So if you need New York Times articles for this week, you go to this database. I will say that the New York Times website, freely available on the internet, will provide access to the current day's newspaper, but you're only able to access 10 articles per month for free. So the New York Times database listed here will give you unlimited access to the current up-to-date newspaper articles. So give it a try and try some of the other databases that you see here as well. So in conclusion, I'm just going to go back out to the Library Learning Commons website. And remember how at the beginning of the webinar, we had started from one of the research guides that was created specifically for your section of the Worlds of History course. Let's just finish up there. I'm going to click on the research guides link below the search box, and then circle back to the history category in the center column, and then click the link for Worlds of History post-World War II, which brings you to the guide that was specifically created for Professor Schaefer's sections of the History 1062 course. I believe that Professor Schaefer is sharing with you several handouts that I provided for you, and one of those, or perhaps both of them, provide direct links to this research guide. I would recommend that you explore it a little bit. Notice how there are links for many of the databases that we've been using today during the webinar. Remember to scroll down and take a look at some of the books and ebooks that have been selected based upon the topic list for the course. You may find that some of the work has been done for you already, and it might be a great place to start your research. but also take a look at some of the other links that are available. There are some links in the top left corner of this page where it says additional resources. Per Professor Schaefer's request, we had added in a link for this why and how to create a useful outline. Um, so this is a freely available website from Purdue University that talks a bit about how you can use outlines to work on your research projects and now how it can help with with your writing process. But I would also click on some of the other tabs on the Worlds of History Research Guide. Find Books will direct you to the WorldCat Discovery searching option that we've discussed before. Finding Articles will give you links to some of the databases that we've already discussed in this webinar, as well as some of the others. There's a Cite Sources tab, which provides links to freely available citation help, including the MLA Formatting and Style Guide at the OWL at Purdue and the MLA Style Center from the Modern Language Association. There's even a tab at the top here for Get Handouts. And what you'll see are links to the 2 handouts that had been provided to Professor Schaefer. So you can always access these handouts directly through this research guide as well. Now what I'll do, I'm just going to go back here to start your research here. So we do see my name here in the right-hand side of the research guide, but I'm just going to go back out to a quick PowerPoint slide. And I just wanted you to have my direct contact information as well. So if you should have any questions when you're working on your own research project, if you're having trouble finding information in whatever format, whether it's an article, a book, an ebook, a video, if you're struggling with your keywords, please do reach out to me. Here's my email address and my office phone number. You could always reach out to me there. We also have on the website for the Library Learning Commons an Ask a Librarian option. And along the left, there are other options for you to contact not just me, but my other librarian colleagues. So we have the phone number for the Learning Commons. There's an email form. Then there's even a number where you can text your questions. So try out these options, whether you're reaching out to me directly or using the options available on the Ask a Librarian page. But let me just go back out and I'll end the webinar on my slide with my contact information. So I do thank you for attending the webinar. If you do have questions, please do reach out to me or to your professor, and I do encourage you to ask for help if you need it, but I do hope that you will find some wonderful resources at the library. We have a lot available, and please do spend some time searching and let us know how it's going. Thank you for attending.